Good morning, Britain. A medical breakthrough on the NHS. A toddler with a rare inherited condition has become the first patient to get a revolutionary gene therapy on the NHS, the most expensive drug the health service has ever prescribed.
8 months on since Zara Alina was brutally murdered while walking home after a night out with a friend, her aunt, Farah Naz, tells us why we all have a role to play in women's safety and how she's determined to create a legacy for her niece.
Would you take an injection to get rid of excess pounds? As a drug that promises to help people suppress their appetite is set to be made available in high street chemists. We'll discuss if weight loss injections are helpful or harmful.
I am stopping over on Millennium night, aren't I, Barbara?
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't want to miss it.
No.
Why, what was the last one like, Naomi?
And he's still the nation's favourite couch potato after years of entertaining millions without ever leaving his armchair. But could there be a royal family reunion of sorts in the pipeline? We'll ask Ricky Tomlinson when he joins us live after 8 o'clock.
And after settled conditions, our weather story starts to spiral down. All that and more on Good Morning Britain.
Wednesday, 15th of February 2023, live from Television Centre in London. This is Good Morning Britain with Charlotte Hawkins and Ed Halls.
Hello there, good morning. A very good morning to you. A good morning to you, Ed Balls.
And to you, and to you. Did you have a good Valentine's Day?
I did, it was very lovely. My husband cooked, actually. There was the three of us, my husband, my daughter. It was a very romantic Valentine's Day dinner. A bit curtailed.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, also, I cooked for Yvette, but I went to bed early and she came late, and so it was a little bit of like a fleeting moment, but, you know.
That's what happens when you have to get up early the next morning, isn't it?
I wouldn't call it romantic, but it was fine.
Well, I'm sure your cooking's romantic,
She liked
isn't
my
it, Ed? What
my
did you...
shish kebab. I did Turkish.
There we go.
Turkish salad and shish kebab.
Very nice, I'm
Yep.
impressed. We had surf and turf, always a good combo.
Very good.
Some prawns and some steak. So I'm celebrating as well the post-Valentine's pink and red combo.
It looks really, really good.
Thank you.
Superb. Superb. And so you have a packed show. Ricky Tomlinson will be brilliant.
Looking forward to that.
Later on. And I think about 7 o'clock we'll get the news about what's happening to inflation.
Inflation figures will be out, yes, usually just after 7 o'clock, isn't it? All eyes will be on what direction that's heading in. We had that huge high back in October, 11.1%. It was like a 41-year high, wasn't it? Has slowly been coming down. But I think the thing is, even if, whatever the figure shows, people know that the cost of things that they're buying is still so expensive. It's just put so much pressure on people's pockets. So even if it is starting to come down, it's going to take a long time, isn't it, before people see that reflected in how much money they've got available.
Well, look, the last month number for December was 10.5. I think people are thinking it might come down to 10.3% year-on-year price rises, but wages last year went up by 6.5. So 6.5 compared to 10. That means everybody's kind of purchasing power and their wages went down in the last year on average. And, you know, the government will need to see much bigger increases in falls in inflation in the coming months before they start to feel as though we're getting back, because the Bank of England target is 2%.
Yes, we're a long
10%,
way off that,
2%,
aren't we?
still a big gap.
And what do you think, how long do you think, obviously with your, you know, previous expertise in these matters, how long do you think it's going to take before things start to get on track for people?
Well, I mean, we've all noticed our petrol prices have come down in recent weeks. Oil and gas prices around the world have come down a lot in the last few months. That will all feed through into lower inflation this year. And I think, you know, if you look at the figures for yesterday for unemployment, if there had been a big rise in unemployment, then possibly that would have meant inflation would come down faster. But inflation has stayed... but unemployment stayed stable. And actually the government is saying today they're trying to get more people to come back into the labour market, to get people who have been off on sick leave, trying to encourage them to come back into work. So that shows that they still think they need to do things to try and to ease the pressures.
Well, we'll be talking more about that later, but hopefully we'll be hearing some good news from the inflation figures coming in at 7 o'clock. And our main news this morning is also some positive news as well, because a 19-month-old girl with a rare inherited genetic disorder is now a happy and healthy toddler after becoming the first child to be treated by the NHS with a new life-saving gene therapy.